You found yourself in another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the Bulls' preseason game tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll also talk about Goran Dragic being cited about Aya. We'll break all that down, plus some more, on today's episode of Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Nonetheless, Pat, preseason basketball today, bro. Today. It's going down today. How excited are you for it?
Hey, man, listen, we're back in business, baby. Bull season is back. Now it gets serious. Now it gets real. Kind of for the next 4 games, you know, like not really, but it kind of gets real. It's basketball. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Like, I mean, the excitement of the season is back, right? We talked about it on the Breeze last night. We clapped it up. Ben Simmons hit a fadeaway fadeaway mid-range shot. You know what I mean? Like, basketball's back. That's all you need to know. But it's really just exciting to see us get some answers to all the questions we've had all offseason, right? Who's gonna take a step? Who's gonna be this next player? To show us something to be excited about. What the heck is Dalen Terry gonna be, right? We talked about that last night. Just like, bro, I can't wait to see if this kid's just gonna be like punching people left and right, or if he's going to actually just be out here hooping, right? He looked like he got some game on him. There's a lot of excitement around a lot of the unknown with the Chicago Bulls, and I'm really ready for that to be known. And so I'm really excited for this season, especially tonight, right? We got the New Orleans Pelicans, right? Hopefully we see at least some minutes out of the starters. I think based on how preseason has gone recently, you'll see more minutes out of the starters. But this season, right, we haven't seen a ton of starters playing a long time in preseason. So maybe they're starting to go back to the old, like, we don't really care about preseason.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about yesterday. But Billy Donovan said after yesterday's practice that he wasn't sure how much the starters will play. So that tells me that they will play some. He's just not sure much. Looking at the game, like you said last night against the Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets, we had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, like those type of players played. Maxey played. So we're seeing Tobias Harris play. So we're seeing starters now play. In the first couple of preseason games when the preseason first opened, we weren't seeing starters from any of those teams. But I'm thinking
it used to be.
Yeah, I know, bro.
We're be like 7 or something like that. We would not see Muggs for a while. We saw a lot. Well, we saw our starters.
Yeah. We saw our starters because our starters were into bench players. But nonetheless, so I'm guessing if I had to put a prediction on it, I'm going to say that the Chicago Bulls starters, we'll see them for about 15 minutes or so tomorrow night. I think we're gonna considering tonight. Oh yeah, tonight. Considering like Patrick Williams, how much he missed last season, I think he may be have a chance to play about 20-22 minutes. Yes. You look at somebody like Io, especially if they're trying to figure out who's going to be the starting point guard. I think they can play close to 20 minutes. But we're going to look at DeMar, Zach, Vooch. They're probably going to play about 15 to 18 minutes tonight. So, and that's what I'm expecting.
Maybe even Zach LaVine a little bit less, right? Because I mean, I guess the question is, right, how much do you want to test out him being back on the court right away? Do you want to go full, okay, you 100%, let's go? Or do you want to kind of take it easy? All right, Zach, we'll work you back in here, get things back right, and then all of a sudden, when you hit the season, you'll be ready to go. Like, I think there might be a little bit of a ramp up with Zach, just because, I mean, this will be his first. He didn't play at all during the summer league, right? Or during the off season. I don't think he played in any of the off season tournaments. I don't think he played in any of the Drew leagues.
Yeah, I can't remember Zach LaVine playing in any Drew leagues. So
this will probably be his first like 5-on-5 action outside of them all meeting up in LA and playing 5-on-5 with him.
Yeah. So I mean, The thing that it's either way, it's going to be exciting. Like I said, looking at it, breaking down, regardless of how many minutes our starters play, we have enough players on this team that we want to take a look at, that we want to see how they've improved over the summer, how they're going to fit into the rotation, things like that. I do think that we're going to see some heavy Zion in this game. It's already been announced that Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum will not be playing in this game, so do not be expecting to see them. But outside of that, I do think we're going to see, considering how long Zion's been out of basketball, what we've seen like with Ben Simmons, players that have been out so far, if that holds true. I know different teams though, that we may see them early and a little bit more often for a player like Zion, which a healthy Zion is always exciting to watch play basketball. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a game that I think we're going to take a lot out of, as far as like how does the Rook look, right? What does Marco get dunked on a little bit less in this game?
Please, Marco, do not challenge Ryan Williamson.
Andre Drummond, how does he look out there? Him and Alex Caruso in their minutes, like what kind of chemistry does that build off the bench? Stuff like that. So,
and I think that's the thing, really, right, that you focus in on, right? What bench players are going to take a step? What bench players are going to be? And of course, right, like if you put Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic out there versus the Pelicans bench, they're gonna cook. I fully expect them to go off and put in work, but I think that the part that you really, to me, that I'm focusing in on is, okay, what are Billy Donovan's bench rotations going to look like now that you got a big man off of your bench that you can go to, right? Because remember last year he was going at Sam Smith a little bit, like, what do you want me to do? I got point guards and point guards, like that's all I can start. Now that you got some size on your bench, how are you going to utilize that size? And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, we're gonna find out if he like Marco or not.
Oh, I think the answer's already written on that, bro. Like I've told you, when in media day, when he was asked about the big man rotation, and he mentioned Javonte Green and Derrick Jones Jr. playing 4 and did not mention Marco Simonovic's name not once. Marco, bro. Have we heard Coach Billy Donovan ever talk about Marco to that degree? Has he ever said anything about Marco Simonovic?
I don't think he's ever said Marco's name. Bro, like I really don't think Billy like Marco. I think he hate this man.
Billy Donovan may not even know Marco Simonovic is on the team. Like he may just not be aware. If we see Kostas Antetokounmpo get off the bench before Marco Simonovic, that tells us everything we need to know as far as Billy Donovan and Marco.
Kostas get off the bench just so they can show an Antetokounmpo jersey and a Bulls jersey and be like, "Hey Giannis, don't that look good? We'd love to have you here, brother." Your brother can also sit on the end of the bench. We'll just cut Tony Bradley.
Oh man, listen, that's another person. Oh no, I can't. I gotta give it. Yeah, really. Tony Bradley was better than Marco Simonovic last season, which is terrible to say.
Yeah, no, Tony has some good moments, man.
Bro, Tony, and that's the thing. I love when people, because listen, if you guys are typing in the comments, it's per 36 minutes, stop it. We don't care about per 36 minutes. Like we don't even do it. But there are things of Tony Bradley's game where you still can see it, because he's still fairly young and he hasn't really played a lot of NBA minutes that you can talk yourself into, like, hey, maybe there's something here. All I hope is that another team thinks that and we can get rid of him. That's what I hope happens.
I tell you what, he don't get invited to nothing though. I ain't seen Tony Bradley at a workout.
But he was at the 5-on-5s.
Was he?
Tony Bradley was at the 5-on-5 workouts.
Drummond didn't go, right?
Yeah, Drummond didn't
go. That's right. Yeah. Tony was there. Oh, man. Hey, man, maybe it improved again. What if Tony Bradley just come? I'm telling y'all, bro, that's the long shot. Tony Bradley. Hey, little bet online action right here. Who's your longest odds to surprise you tonight? Not even tonight, right? This season. Who's the longest odds to surprise you tonight? Is it Tony or Marco?
It's Marco, bro. It's Marco. Like, because I've seen Tony. Like, remember that game where Tony Bradley, I think it was a quarter, if not it was a half. He had 10 and 10 in a quarter or a half, and it was like, listen, there's times where you can see and talk yourself into the potential of this guy. Marco, the only time, like, he had a triple double of getting dunked on in 3 times in less than a minute. That's the only triple double he's ever dropped. Like,
yeah, he went down. He went down bad. But so. That's messed up, man. Hey, I'm just glad basketball's back, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been watching these preseason games, man. I've been tuning in with a lot of the NBA action that's coming out here, bro. And here's the thing, it looks terrible. Like you watch it and you're just like, man, this ain't.
They don't care. They don't care.
Do not care.
They
bro.
Don't care.
Nobody cares about preseason. We care about preseason. They care about, let me get some run around with some 5-on-5 action, because, bro, when Ben Simmons hit that turnaround fadeaway mid-range shot last night, I was like, boy, he ain't going to take that once this season.
Now, hey, you say that. What if that actually becomes a part of the game? What if we see Ben Simmons taking turnaround middies all season and just feasting from the mid-range?
Shout out to you. It's about time you figured out a shot that you like. But, like, I don't buy it. Guess what? We saw Ben Simmons hit a corner three two preseasons ago.
Oh, I remember that. People were straight celebrating that, too.
Ben Simmons can shoot now.
That's crazy. That's wild. All right. Next up, we're gonna talk about Ayo Dosumnu impressing the veteran Goran Dragic and what that could mean for the Chicago Bulls team. But first, got to talk to you guys about Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. You're ready. Indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite. Cookie dough chunk puffs have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag your box for you and the family. If you, it would be a great treat, or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them all for yourself. Like all Built bars, the cookie dough chunk puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Cookie dough chocolate, cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture, so good. What's great about Built is that all their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and makes tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puffs, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just to grab a quick bite. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKEDON15 at Built.com. All right, Pat. The veteran Goran Dragic has said that he is most impressed by Ayo Dosumnu so far in training camp. Is there any chance that Ayo is not the starting? Like, there's a chance. What percentage? That's where we started. What percentage chance are you giving each of the respective point guards to be the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls by the season opener? We're going to go Ayo, Goran, of course, Caruso, and we're even going to throw Kobe out there just for ish and giggles. What's the percentages you're giving him?
Ayo, I would say I'd give about 65% chance.
Okay.
Goran 35%, just because he's a vet and he's always got that veteran savvy thing. I'd give Caruso about 50% chance. And Kobe, I'd probably give him the lowest, but not because I'd probably give him like a 20% chance, but not because just because I don't think Billy Donovan wants to put him in that position again, right? I think based on how and it's really a surprise to me, based on how AK and Billy have talked about Kobe, it seems like one, they really like Kobe White, and two, they really want Kobe to have a consistent role with this team. And so I think they want that consistent role to be the two guard position. Where he can kind of just, focus on scoring, facilitate a little bit, attack the bucket, be a one-on-one type of guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. But, man, I mean, the excitement around Ayo Dosumnu is crazy, bro. I'll say this. It's the one – we've heard more excitement around Ayo than we have around Patrick Williams, and he's our fourth pick in the draft. Just from the team, right? Like, everybody's like, Pat's got to put it together, right? And Pat's got to get it done. Pat's got to make these moves. We know what Pat is. When they talk about Ayo, they be like, bro, this kid's crazy. He's strong out here. Man, you should see the length. You should see, man, did you see him on this? It's like, bro, like, he's a second round pick. Like, he that good? Like, he took that big of a step this offseason? Like, I can't wait to see Ayo, bro.
I mean, it's a guard-driven league, so I mean, if he has taken that type of leap, it would be huge. I mean, to get that type of value out the second round, I can understand why people are excited. And I think also, like, even hearing how AK and Billy Donovan have talked about Ayo Dosumnu, I think that his potential has surprised them to a degree as well. Yeah. Like, I know they said the thing that you can expect, like, we were surprised he was going to be in the second round, and all that's true, but like, I don't think that they thought that they were going to get this type like of player out of Ayo, like a player that hasn't really scratched his offensive potential in the NBA yet, but like defensively, he's shut down some of the marquee scorers in the league. When you look at I don't have the graphic anymore, but like, so I do think that the excitement around Ayo, especially because we got to see it and it was unexpected. Like, to your point, like when you draft a fourth overall pick, the things that Patrick Williams needs to do and they hope to do this season, you expect by this point in their career. When you draft a second round point guard that you may have not even thought that you didn't think may not even get out the G League in his rookie season, and he's now your starting point guard, I think that excitement is going to naturally be a little bit higher.
And I think here's the thing, right? And this is the part. I guess this is the question that I have around Ayo, right? Like, what does he have to do to solidify him in that role? And I know it's tough to say, right, because Lonzo's coming back and stuff like that. But I mean, that's literally, he's going to get a half a season to take a job. What does he have to do when we get to this first half, through this first half of the season, to the point where Lonzo's getting ready to come back, to say, this is my job and I'm not giving it back?
Oh, I don't think there's not going to be a world in which this season, unless Ayo is averaging like 18 and 10, they're still going to get, like, it's still Lonzo Ball's position, because as much as Ayo and as great as Ayo is, he's not shown nearly the defensive versatility or like, he's been a great defender, but still not a defender on Lonzo's level yet when Lonzo's fully healthy. He still hasn't shot the ball like what Lonzo can, and especially when you look at a team that needs three-point shooting, especially with DeMar being in the lineup, and we'll see what happens with Vooch's three-point shot. I don't think that there's enough that Ayo can do that would necessarily boot Lonzo out of being the projected starting point guard. The only thing that I think can help that, if Lonzo comes back and his body isn't kind of responding the way that they want, but he's able to play, but maybe he's more in and out of the lineup, I think then Ayo keeps that starting point guard position. But at the end of the day, I think Ayo would have to have such an amazing season for them to say, okay, at this point, no, Ayo's our starter and Lonzo's our backup. It would have to take a lot to get to that point, I think.
It feels like that's what they're expecting, though, right? Like, that's how it feels to me, right? It feels like they're surprised, like you said, they're surprised by what Ayo has become, but surprised in a good way. It feels like they're looking at this like, oh man, like, this kid is really taking some steps that we did not expect him to take. He's really going into this offseason and worked on something that hopefully we'll get to see tonight that is going to be big for us moving forward, right? And he's just got himself in a better position to be, and probably more prepared to be, that starting point guard. Because, I mean, listen, you come into a season, right, with a role in mind. Caruso talked about it, right? Caruso came into a season, ready to be the sixth man. Sixth man's playing 18, 19 minutes a game. Caruso's playing like 28 minutes a game. He said, my body wasn't ready for that. I had to go into the offseason and get my body ready to be able to play 28 to 36 minutes a game. So I think this offseason, right, coming back, and just I'm so excited to see what Ayo's going to be, and I'm so excited to see it because of how everybody talks about Ayo and just the mindset that he has, right? Like, remember last season they talked about Ayo coming in. He wasn't asking questions on like, how's the NBA going to be? He was asking questions like, how do you win a championship? Like, hey kid, you just got here. Don't worry about it. How do you win a championship? What did you? Maybe don't ask Tristan. But
Tristan's gonna be like, hey, so you got to impregnate 4 different women, and then, I know we're gushing over Ayo deservedly slow, but some of the things that Ayo needs to work on, is that free throw percentage. You're going to be a starting point guard in this league. That 67% from free throw range is not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it.
But Lonzo had to get there too.
I mean, yeah. So it takes time, right? And I'm not saying that like the jury's written out on it yet, but like he has to improve that. Yeah. When you look at all his other shooting splits and percentages, he was 52% from the field, 37% from three, taking 2.5 threes per game at that. He only took about 7 shots per game overall. So those shooting splits at that amount of volume is great, right? That's great. He needs to get that free throw percentage up. I want to see Ayo, his court vision, get a little bit better. I want to see him because he did. I know we gush over Ayo, but he made some rookie mistakes, and they were expected, right? So there's not like there's anything crazy, but like I need to see that turnover rate come down a little bit as well. Yeah. He gets those things together. We're looking at, especially considering the scoring firepower is already in this starting lineup. If he's starting, changing those things, you got a solid starter in the league, regardless if he upticks the scoring or not.
I think the question that you got to look at is what does he get, right? Because we had him coming in as a bench role. What does he get as a starter, right? He spent a lot of the season as a starter, but again, right, 35 games at a minimum coming off of the bench. Didn't really get a ton of offensive opportunities early on in this thing, right? Like had some games where he had 2-3 points right now, right? Listen, we need you to get 12 points to 15 points a game to add on to what these guys are doing, and you got to get your assist numbers up, right? Like I think you could see Ayo could be in the running for most improved player of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, so look at Ayo. So he started 40 games last season. He averaged 34 minutes a game as a starter. He shot the ball 52.3%, 35.5%. He averaged actually 3, so right at 3-pointers per game as a starter, which is uptick from his overall season. And then his free throw percentage was actually 78% as a starter. So that's a lot more respectable.
Like there's more of an uptick when you got more time.
Yeah, and as a starter, he averaged 10.9 points per, so almost 11 points per game, almost 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal per game. Okay, that's not bad as a starter at all.
And now I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. And dog, like that's why I say it, right? Like you're seeing that in 40 games. And he didn't know what the heck he was doing.
And then we know about half those games. Well, let me say half, but a lot of those games, he fell off a cliff. Remember, because he hit that rookie wall. So, all right. Well, I mean, we'll see. Ayo has a lot to show us, and I can't wait to see how he develops. That's going to be one of the things. Like, if he does win the starting point guard position, I know we've been assuming that he will, but if he does end up getting the starting point guard position, how he performs in that position is going to be one of the biggest storylines of the season. Go ahead,
bro. I feel like we always gloss over the fact that in that last game, that man had 26, 5, and 6.
In what last game?
Versus Minnesota.
Well, that's because I remember Patrick Williams' stat line so much in that one. Wow,
P. Will's game.
Wow. So Ayo's stat line of the last game of the season, he had 26 points, 2 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot the ball 3 for 6 from 3-point range, 9 for 18 overall from the field.
Yeah, 7 turnovers though.
He did have 7 turnovers. Wow, though. That's
I feel like we gloss over that a lot.
I mean, it is what it is there.
Patrick Williams at 38.
Yeah, Patrick Williams at 38. But before we wrap up the show, brother, it's October 4th. And this has always been an important date for me. My youngest sisters, they're twins. These are their birthday, but it's also the birthday of one Derrick Rose, brother. Shout out to Derrick Rose for sticking it out 15 years in the NBA.
Love D Rose, man. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had beef with the Knicks going. This is our vet.
No.
A little beef. Yeah, I mean, like I know he's y'all vet, but come on, dog.
He's always gonna be a Bull. He's always gonna be a Bull. Like he's always gonna be a Bull.
He's played so much more time on every other team, but he's always gonna be a Bull, man. Love Derrick Rose. Love the fact that he's still cooking. Hope that he has a season where Thibs doesn't run him into the ground this year. Although I'm pretty sure, looking at that Knicks roster, he is going to spend a lot of time on the court. Never even thought about that though. Kind of the Illinois connection between him and Jalen Brunson. I hope Jalen learns a lot from him. I hope Jalen learns a lot from him. Learns a lot about his game from him. You know what I'm saying? Like very different size guys, but I mean, Derrick Rose has been. When you just talk about his career, bro, like, of course, we always look at Chicago. We look at the MVPs. We look at him, working himself back on the court, dealing with the knee injuries, things like that. But, like, Derrick Rose's career has been, outside of the knee injury, just really, really solid. And he's been a great role player everywhere he goes, man.
I mean, the fact that Derrick Rose is still effective, like considering all the injuries that he's had, bro, like everything that how his career took a left turn, like he was really able to rebuild himself. He had to go through that depressive state that he said he went in and kind of go away and come back. Like, but when he did, like especially in Minnesota, he was very effective. He reinvigorated his career that last season in Minnesota. Then went to Detroit, had another 18-point per game season. Was in Detroit for 2 years. Now he's been back in New York for 2 years as well. Hasn't had quite the scoring numbers, but he's still been a very effective player. When you're looking at 48% overall from the field, like Derrick Rose is still a heck of a bench player in the team, and shout out to him for being able to not only transform his game, but still find ways to be effective. And honestly, he's become a more deadly three-point shooter probably the last 3 years of his career.
Man, and I think the wild part is, bro, like Derrick Rose is 34. That's like that is like I look at it, I'm like, bro, like I watched this man playing since Simeon.
That's crazy, bro.
Like you was like 15, 16, bro. I've been watching you for 15, 16 years.
That's crazy, bro.
He is 34 years old, bro. Derrick Rose, man, congrats to you, brother, for making it another year and just for continuing to be. I mean, listen, we get a solid what do we get every year? Solid month and a half of just Derrick Rose cooking people just about every year. Now, it usually coincides with him being overworked because all of a sudden Thibs be like, hey, he's back. I'm going to run him out there for 38 minutes and be like, come on, bro. Like, stop doing this, Thibs. You've been doing this since Chicago, brother.
Bro, like that. I mean, shout out to Thibs also for always, looking out for Derrick Rose. But, yeah, Derrick Rose, if he scores 10 points in a quarter, Thibs like, he's back.
Bro, 38 minutes, bro. We don't need that, bro. Give me Derrick, and I'm gonna be real with you, bro. And listen, it's Derrick likes being with him. At the end of the day, Derrick loves it. That's Thibs is his guy. Derrick is comfortable with him. He likes being with Thibs. But dog, Derrick, you gotta just come. First off, come home. Second off, get away from Thibs, bro. Because
it's not going to happen, bro. You might as well. As soon as you say get away and Thibs in the same sentence, Derrick Rose's ears have turned off. He's not listening to you, bro. He's not listening to you.
If he played 20 minutes a game for every game, he could beat Alex Caruso. Not our Alex Caruso, Lakers Alex Caruso. He could be there 18 to 20 minutes a game. Come out, give you solid play. That's not too much wear and tear on the body. Thibs, see that man put up one of them up and under layups past two defenders where you see both of them smack the glass trying to block it. It hit high off the glass and go in. He's back. Get him in there. 38. Play up.
Hey man, lay off my point guard, bro. Lay off the point guard, bro.
Hey, I love Derrick. It's the coach that I got some issues with.
Listen. Thibs is Thibs, and he's never gonna change, bro. Like Thibs is never gonna change, bro. Will we ever see Thibs coach in a team longer than 5 or 6 seasons? Because I feel like that's the max you can run with Thibs. Then he got to get up out of it.
I mean, he keep going. Well, one, he was doing like GM and the GM and coach thing in Minnesota. That almost never works. And then he went to New York. So it's like while I think Thibs is the right kind of guy for New York, like New York is just where I'd love to see. Well, never mind. No, I wouldn't, because I don't want to see him get hurt. I would have loved to see Thibs in Brooklyn.
Oh, bro, that's when he would have played. We're back. Everything. It would have been just the same Chicago Bulls plays, everything, bro. It would have been the same.
You'd have got Derrick Rose instead of Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, it would have been the same thing, bro. Like I hope Kyrie better be prepared because he's playing 52 minutes a night.
Kyrie be doing that anyway, though. Steve Nash running them out there too. He just ain't got no system around it. He just running them out there.
Boy, man, listen. I wonder how much longer Joakim Noah's career would have been if there wasn't so many games in which like he played like the whole second half
under Thibs. That was the LaCroix.
We're gonna go ahead and move right along.
I'm just saying. Them shoes messed that boy up.
These are facts. These are facts. Oh, man, but that is it for today's episode. Pat, go ahead and send us home, brother.
Yeah, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Appreciate y'all for showing up.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, the CEO Haize. I want to thank you for tuning in and making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, I need you to go and check on Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd hosts the #1 daily fantasy basketball show on the planet. It's free and available wherever you get your pod. And I will tell you this isn't even just because we're on Locked On. That man does his, bro, like on a different level. On a completely different. We're all playing chess. He's playing 3-level chess. The 3-level chess on a different level, bro. Like it's wild, and the fact that he holds that information for so many specific players on so many different teams in the league is wild, bro. It's crazy.
We got to get him on just to break down analytics one day.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we have him break down just how good Ayo actually was in his rookie season.
I'm actually intrigued by that. I'm actually interested in
that. See, yeah, we're gonna have to hit him up. So let's get in them DMs. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls. For Pat the Designer, this is Haize. We out this mug. Peace.
Getting them DMs.
I mean, yeah.